I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to...
What up, what up, what up? Welcome into Pregaming. We're here at Sports Money on YouTube. We're live over there on the gram. Shout out to anybody watching us over on Instagram. Welcome to the fam. Trying to get that money. And we are doing it again tonight, Tuesday night. Hey, we're in it. We're here. They talk about them dog days. And it's hot. It's steamy across the northeastern United States, probably across all of the United States for that matter. But we have business to get to here, so we've got to make the most of the time in front of us. We've got Major League Baseball. We've got the WNBA and a special added treat, a little FIFA club action that's going to pop off at 9 p.m. Excited to talk to you guys about these games. And in lieu of the cancellation of The Walking Dead today, we're going to go live tonight. We're going to go live at 7 p.m. So we got to turn this thing around right fast. Our guy Sharpie going to come in and break down, give you some of his K-props. You know he has been on fire. You're not going to want to miss out on what he's got to say. Ramon Scott's been running so hot, he kicks off the network at 9 a.m. with the first looks from Vegas, telling you guys where that cash is coming in. The morning steam with Ramon Scott. And, of course, we bookend the betting preparation window with Pregaming here, giving you guys all those looks, the angles, the cash flow splits, injury updates, daily prognosis, anything that's going on throughout the day that we can use to slay these books. And we have been doing that job. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are as well. We had another profitable night. That moves us to 5 straight profitable pre-gaming shows. It feels so good to say it. I hope you guys are cashing along the way. We've talked about this before. Summertime, got to be a little bit more selective, but we back down a little bit on the bet size. We increase that net that we're casting out there, and we are grinders. Daily prospectors going into them mountains, scrubbing them hills, looking for the gold, and we've been finding it. We've been doing a pretty darn good job of it. You know, yesterday we came out the window firing there. We took a split. We had a split between the under 10 in that Baltimore, Texas series. No problem in that game. That was a 6-0 final. Got cute, added a same game parlay. And you know what happens? You get cute, you take the L. I don't know how it didn't come through, but Trevor Rogers ended with 4 Ks. I think he went like 7 innings deep, and he just couldn't quite get there. So, hey, we took a big swing. That was almost a 700 swing on that impromptu same game parlay. No, I wouldn't do it again if I knew the Rangers were going to lose. But I thought the looks were pretty dialed in from a Trevor Rogers perspective, and the under obviously was a no sweat bet. For what it's worth, no action on that under in tonight's card. But the under trend is what I was trying to find there. The under trend is still alive. So pardon me, it's the summertime. I was out cutting the lawn in 100-degree heat today. So we cashed the Cincinnati Reds, easily down the New York Yankees 6-1. We cashed the under 8.5 in that Braves game in the Mets. Now, I do want to say, I thought that it was a Mets spot. I stayed off it. I took the total on the 8.5. So you guys that were on the Braves, congratulations. I know quite a few of you were. So that's how we work together. You guys talked me off a spot. Hopefully I talked you into a spot. And it wasn't the White Sox because they got busted up. It felt like 10 losses. Sadly, it was a double dip. It counted as 2. But we did not cash that first 5. They were down 8-0. We did not cash that full game. They lost 10-0. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, it's a shutout. Do they bounce back? The White Sox aren't your average bear. They stink. Not only do they stink, but, I mean, look, the value at plus 106, no. If you were going to bet the White Sox, it had to be last night. I mean, you're sitting around even money right now. Not for me. No White Sox in my action tonight. The Pirates, though, how about the sneaky little spot? Man, the first 5 was in our grasp. And they snacked it back out there. The Brewers come back in the bottom of the 5th inning and tie that game up 4-4. So we pushed the first 5. But we did cash that plus 150 on the Pirates yesterday, 5-4 final, as my guy Ramon Scott's got chirping in the background. You're going to hear plenty of final tonight. Seattle Mariners toasted those Minnesota Twins. We were all over that. Seattle, 11-2 victory. I had to sprinkle a little extra on that one. We cashed the over, 8.5, in that Cubs-St. Louis game. Interesting enough, we'll have a trend we'll talk about tonight, but early in that game, it was a little shaky. Are we going to see him get to 8.5 and then bang, 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 a couple swings of the bat? They get the over 8.5. RBIs, we cashed 2. Acuna Jr. got there for us. Kyle Tucker did not get there for us. Kyle Tucker at plus 170. No RBIs. They only had 2 runs. So them Cards had their number yesterday. Easy victory with the LA Angels and the over 8. Parlayed at plus 225. I sent that out to our enhanced members. Angels went down early in that first inning, and they never looked back. Final score, easy bust up. I think it was 9-5 was the final total on that thing. Either way, we had big money, and then the Padres blew it. San Diego -1, -140. Probably a victim of the traditional adage. Why don't I take the -1? Let's get the run. Let's get the cost down in case we lose. Yeah, we lost. The Nats beat them up. Nats beat them up soundly, early and often. Every time you thought, like it got to 6-3, and I'm thinking, maybe the Nats are an under squad. They've been rolling some unders. No. Immediately as I thought that, they popped in 3 more. It was like 9-3. I'm like, all right, time to move on, and move on we will. But it's important that we recap every day. That's our only currency in this thing is what we have from a record perspective. And you can find mine over at BetStamp at Mikey Money. Make sure you click on the accounting tab. You'll see that we are crushing. We're up. There was a period. I want to say it was back in April. Maybe it was March. It was bad. It was ugly. We were on like a 3-week losing streak and couldn't get out of our own way. Man, we have fought back. I want to say we're up over, it's got to be almost 100 units in the last 3 months. So it's been, you can see it all over there for your own peepers. Put your own eyeballs on it. It's hard to believe, but daily grinders are we. And it's time for us to keep firing away. Again, we don't have a lot of time tonight, so we got to get to work. It's very important you guys get your best bets in the chat so we can talk about what you guys are on. We're going to do the whole thing. We're going to give it the rundown, but we got that quick turnaround for that 7 o'clock pop. And I want to make sure that we get some opportunity to let our friend Sharpie come in here and shine, because he has been on an absolute tear, and you do not want to miss the fun we're going to have in store tonight. 7 to 9, not here for a long time, but we're here to give you some winning bets tonight and watch a little Major League Baseball. We'll focus in on the Yankees and Cincinnati Reds game, but look, that's just for YouTube, search terms, and all the rest. We're going to be looking at every single live game, and if you know anything about our live streams, don't miss them. Live streaming is a business, and we are the best at it. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to come in here, spend it with us here. Sports money growing every single day, and it's because of you guys coming in, taking the time to share your thoughts, share your feedback, share your thumbs up comments with us here. This community growing by the day. Let's get our voices loud. The way you get loud here, professional disruptors, you smash that thumbs up button. Summertime, it's the dog days. All the views are down across YouTube, but we can keep them thumbs up through the roof and continue to generate a high level of views. New viewers mean new best bets, means opportunity for us to get more bankroll as we grind through these dog days of summer. Looking forward to it. But you know the deal. Now's the time. Thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, good practice. Get in here, smack that thumbs up. We'll talk about the best bets in the business from our chat, and then we'll get to work. I see my guy Subhuman Gaucho's sending me the message. Dude, it had to pay huge. The fade guy was in effect today. And Auckland whoever Auckland played. So anyways, we cashed. That was easy cash. Let's go, you guys. You know the deal. I hope you're excited tonight. I want to hear what your favorite games are across the Major League Baseball slate. I think we have 15 of them. Man, we got, 3-4 WNBA games? I think there's 4. There's 2 spots I kind of stayed off of. I might circle back and pop in on that Dream and Wings, excuse me. I put the S in the wrong spot. And of course, we're going to finish her off with that FIFA club game at 9 p.m. I think we have ourselves a nice look to beat them books. So it's time. Let's go. Commenter numero uno. I told you our friend Gerald Jones is going to pop the top. He's getting himself a little run going. Look out. Look out. My guy's on fire. He gave his Cubs and cards. He had the over with us last night out there. He likes the Nationals and Padres over 8.5 tonight. You'll see his record. Love a guy tracking his record, taking it serious. The next level. You can follow his wins and losses, his ebbs and flows, but I think he's in an ebb period right now. I think that's the case for our guy, Gerald Jones, man. Thank you for sharing. Shout out to Nicholas Handy. Joe W's here. David Wallace cashed both home runs last night. Dude, been on a pretty solid run with calling them out there. I mean, the RBI business heated us up. Hits, runs, RBI. There's a lot of them in play. I'll talk about some of those live tonight. As a reminder, speaking of which, the Instagram page is rolling with 2 spots today. Deuce. We got a RBI play out there for plus 195. We've got a K prop out there for minus 110. And I'll give you a sneak peek. The K props on the Astros game. And I forgot what the RBI's on. Sorry. Maybe it's dehydration from the summertime. But there's 2 of them out there. And we're off of back-to-back wins as we launch this Instagram channel. So you guys, it means a lot for you to come in there, check us out on Instagram, throw a comment, put a heart out there. I don't know if they call it a like. I'm not sure what they call it over there, but whatever they call it, just make sure you do it. You know, that little spot next to the, it's a heart. It's a fucking heart. Smash it. Whatever it is, smash it. And don't break my heart as we go after it. Ignatius Penny Feather, the 7th is here. Gerald Jones says, on Montas, under 3.5 Ks, plus 120. There's my guy, Stop Geo. What up? Stop Geo Engineering. Peter Grassi says 105 in Boston. Man, it's time to pop the cod. Go to the bar. See if the Sox can smash. You know what I mean? Peter Gracia, let's go. Jeff Matthews is here. Going back to that over in San Diego. Thanks, Peter Gracia. Says we've been money, man. We're just trying to grind. We're just trying to make that cash. Gave out a losing tennis play. You know what's messed up? Just in full transparency. Won an overnight tennis play. Well, I guess it was a 4 a.m. tennis play or something like that. Then I won like a 7 a.m. tennis play, and I was like, all right, I got one more. Got one more lined up. Let me put that out there. And I lost. Fuck him. What are you going to do? They can take the dog out of the fight, but they can't take the fight out of the dog. Is damn right. Stop, Gio. That might be our tagline for this winter season here. Nicholas Handy. Likes a little Trevor Rogers, 8 innings. Oh, this is last night. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He couldn't get one. I mean, it didn't matter. The same game parlay lost, but I still played, his K prop was like plus 105, I think, in that case too. So, and Joseph Meyer says new subscribers mean shots. No, it's fully our thing too, man. We're going to get after it tonight. Look, we got to do what we got to do. There's only so many times to live stream, and I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are too. We're not chasing down the end of the NBA and NHL playoffs, so the pace will be a little bit more at our discretion. But look, we're going to take the time this summer. We're going to try to learn. We're going to try to bring some guests in to teach you guys a thing or two about some of the way that they've gone as the professionals they are. We're going to try to continue to show some different aspects, some different thinking process around how you grow that bankroll. As you know, I believe in just a consistent unit pop, but we want to get a look and flavor of a lot of our friends and professionals that are out there that can help us grow this thing. So the more we get, the more likes, the more subs, the more numbers we grow, the more people we'll get in here to help us, educate us in the summer so that we can attack in the fall and winter when the card is plentiful. Nicholas Handy says, speaking of the O's, I'm on Texas tonight. Everything went the O's way last night. That's rare. And it's a shutout. Nicholas Handy likes Chicago all around. White Sox and the Cubs. Peter Gracia says the O's over. And the Sox under. Sox and the under. Oh, it's a little trickster in there. Snuck that little plus sign in there. Stop Geo says I'm on a 2-leg hits, runs, and RBIs parlay. Colt Keith. Nolan Arenado. Not a bad look. Not a bad look. There's Gonzo in the house. What's up, Gonzo? Peter Crosby says, well, I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. Trying, brother. You inspire me when you talk about how warm it is in Boston. Jeff Matthews says Nationals 7-3 to the over in his last 10 versus the NL West. Oldie says smash the like it dogs. Gonzo likes Baltimore. Late line movement is crazy. Spoon Bets. Spoon Bets was just saying some positive things with Dabby Cab the other day, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing. And our guy, Ramon Scott. Man never sleeps. He might take a little one-eye nap, but he's always got one eye on the injury report. He's giving you Sykes, the Mystic, out tonight versus the Lynx. Interesting rundown. As I said, we're going to move quickly because, I want to make sure that we get a few minutes in there for our guy Sharpie as we start that next show to fire off and share his heater. The plays that he's looking at. You know what we do, though. We look at the cash flow. We try to see where that cash is coming in, assessing public sharp betting, and then ultimately how the books respect where that cash is coming in. And we've got a spot. Did it just get postponed? Did it just postpone? No way. No way. Are you kidding me? Delayed. What? Athletics and Tigers. All right, look. I'll give it to you fast. We don't need to spend a ton of time on it. They're big favorites, minus 325. Freaking delayed, man. I swear the AL Central in the summertime has just got to be a rain fest. Good luck to any carnival goers and concert attenders out there. It's just got to be wet and sloppy. It seems like every time we have a show, this rain literally rains on our parade. 95% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the Tigers. Line has moved significantly. They're fading the Athletics. Total at 7.5 has not really moved. 88% of the bets and 90% of the cash. So there's a lot of love for that over. And, I get it to some degree. You're looking at the Athletics and you're seeing, well, they're averaging a bunch of runs, but don't forget their ballpark now is one of them little baby parks out there in Sacktown. So if you look at their recent performance, they scored 5 runs over the last 2 games, 10 total in that series against Cleveland. Again, that was a home series, though. So they're packing things up. They're flying through the rain, and they're getting to the 3-1-3. That is Detroit. And look, the Tigers. Inconsistent, probably the best way to describe it. What we do know about this Tigers team is we've got Scooble. We'll take the bump tonight. Allegedly. We'll see what happens with this rain. And I believe Scooble just dunked us the last time out there on a pitching prop, if I'm not mistaken. So not going to touch that. What I am going to look at, though, is I want to double dip. I did double dip, so I hope this, lot going on, a lot to talk about. Let me recenter my thoughts here for a second. We talked about FanDuel. We talked about the size of the handle that FanDuel has now. 3-1 what Vegas had in its prime. So there's a lot of public sentiment. A lot of people love FanDuel. When FanDuel's got the best number, I try to stay away. They're not stupid. Albeit, they've made some stupid moves here. And recently today, if you read anything around Twitter, FanDuel looking to block down parlays. If they think you can lose, but if you do a group parlay, so a bunch of people on the parlay, I don't know the circumstances to it. I don't use FanDuel. But they're going to cancel your bet. So if you bet in a group or a conglomerate or a syndicate and they see it coming out there in a parlay fashion, don't tail those 5-run home run parlays you see on Twitter. There's not going to be any benefit for it because if it cashes, they're going to cancel you. That being said, Twitter does allow you to cancel in spots like this. DraftKings does not. DraftKings is my kind of book of choice is why I bring these guys up. But look, it is Scooble. Scooble's been fire. 2.06 ERA. Why wouldn't he win this AL Cy Young again and go back-to-back with this thing? And he's crushing it. I mean, all his numbers, 32.1 K strikeout rate, 3.3 walk rate, hard hit rate, 32.2. I mean, the guy's just doing everything the right way. And not only that, but he plays even better at home. So you got a guy that's killing it, and he plays even better at home. His ERA goes from 2.06 to 1.88. 13.8 strikeout to walk ratio. Not a lot of ducks on the pond. And if you look at that, a 0.74 ERA over his last 5 starts coming into this thing. That is the definition of lights out. What's he got on the other side for the Athletics bats? Well, they struggle against lefties. In the last 2 weeks, they're at 280 OBA. That's 28th in Major League Baseball. Batting average of 195 is 28th in baseball. Their 25.2% K rate makes them 23rd in baseball. So let's expect Scooble to limit this athletic squad. On the other side of things, we have Severino. This is where I think this is a little mind twister. 4.42 ERA for Severino on the year for his ERA, right? He's playing at that baby ballpark. You want evidence? He goes on the road. He's got a .93. That's a 0.93 ERA on the road versus a 6.79 at home. So clearly, we can look to see him shove in this Detroit spot out there. I wanted to get involved with this thing specifically because I thought first 5 and full game unders were teed up for us. As beautiful as they could be, it's unfortunate because we caught some plus money at the under 3.5 in the first 5 and the under 7.5 at -116. I'm in. I hope it's just a small delay. I don't know if anybody can say that out there. Spoon Bets likes DK more than FanDuel, but he thinks FanDuel is softer than MLB lines. That's interesting. All right, Stop Geo says he's boots on the ground. Spotty BS on the radar, maybe passing by. All right. Peter Grassi says AL Central, a lot of thunderstorms, true. I appreciate you, Spoon Bets, man. We love you being a part of the community and appreciate you working hard, man. Grinding. Keep doing you, man. I see you. I see you, brother. Let's go. Skunt Blaster with the Skunt Bag play of the day. Likes the Chicago Sky. Single unit on the Sky Moneyline. Double up smash bot for your boy. You know what's funny about that, Skunt Blaster? We cashed 3 or 4 team total unders in a row for this Chicago Sky team. And I saw this total on the creep. It moved up 3 points. And I thought to myself, why wouldn't it be the Chicago Sky that find a way to score some points tonight and drive that total over? It's kind of the zag when everyone's been zigging. Angel Reese, we know the situation. I like it, my guy. Thank you for the dono. Good luck on your action. That was one of the plays I was going to add. Not that play, but I was going to add the team total over for the Chicago Sky. But I don't know that I have the kahunas for that today. We'll see. Jeff Matthews in the house. He grabbed the Athletics +2 run line. Lower scoring game. Why not with a +2? Right? We talk about that all the time. If it's going to be a lower scoring game, it's 1 or 2 runs that scratches out the difference between that win and that loss. And a reminder to smash that thumbs up button. Do follow us. You see across the bottom there on IG, Sports Money Network. I will continue to put plays out there if you guys continue to watch them. And we're tracking them. I'm going to see if we're going to get this cash. We're going to get this cash in this next game. I feel like I added something to this one. Let me go over to BetStamp and see if I added something to this one. No, I guess I didn't. Felt like I did. I did not. Brew Crew, Pirates, playing again. Play a lot. Feels like they play a lot. And the surprise here is the Brewers are running red hot. Surprised, because I don't believe in the consistency of their bats. And you know what we did see? We did cash. We pushed the first 5. We did cash the full game yesterday on the Pirates. We have a ton of money coming in. We have 94% of the bets and 93% of the cash on the Brewers. It's moved the line 20 cents. So you know the deal. We try to look at the percentage of bets, kind of look at those as it's the soup, right? It's the parlays, it's the teasers, it's the prop bet. It's all the tickets being written, $2 bettors, $10 bettors, $100 bettors. It all aggregates into there. And we kind of look at that as the public picture. Then we look at that percentage of sharp money. We want to consider that sharp money, or that percentage of money rather, potentially to be sharper money. It's single tickets. It's bigger bettors. Now, bigger bettors aren't always sharper bettors, but at least for conversation purposes, we want to see how the books are reacting to somebody coming in with a backpack full of money and saying, put 10 dimes on the Brewers for them. Do they want to entice them to go back to the ATM and grab another 10 dimes? That's a hell of an ATM if it's throwing out 10 dimes. Anyhow, then we look at the total, and it's got 7.5s pegged across the board, and it has not moved all day with 97% of the bets and 95% of the cash on the over. It's sitting at 7.5. It's Freddie Peralta with his 2.76 ERA. It's Andrew Heaney with his 3.94 ERA. And I talked about this last week. There's going to be some spots where these bad teams, aka the Pirates, they go in when they smell blood. They'll follow that blood trail into the woods, and they'll do everything they can to try to come home with dinner. In this case, that means using a lot of bullpen pieces. That means just kind of grinding. You're going to leave guys in a little bit longer. If they're hot, you're going to pop them out a little bit. You're just going to cycle through the rotation aggressively, more so than following like the analytics, right? Because you got to take a win when you can get that win. And that's what the Pirates did yesterday. And they came out with that 5-4 victory, which cashed for us. It was a nice plus money price tag. Logistically, if you look at the game itself and you want to validate some of those points, just look at the number of pitchers the Pirates threw out there. 5 guys. And you want to talk about, look, we talked about Ashcraft. We knew he was going to be an opener. I don't know. Some people were surprised by that, but the dude doesn't go more than 2 innings. He went 3. He only gave up 1 hit. Stratton goes in for 1 inning. Shugart goes in for 2.1. Matson goes in for 1.2. They went after it and they got their win. And I think that's where it ends. I think player for player, dollar for dollar, person for person, this is a tough spot for the Pirates. Not just to the fact that the under reigns true. They're 9-1 to the under. Away team after a divisional game. They tend to use up pieces. And then once they have tape on those pieces, we know the bats just aren't quite as good. And you look at Freddie Peralta, he's firing right now. He's another guy like we saw with Scooble. He's got that 2.76 ERA. His whip's at 111. 2.89 ERA over his last 7 starts. So a nice sample. Guys showing consistency. I jumped in earlier on a juicy under 2.5 earned runs. It's down to 1.5 across the board. I can't give you the Freddie Peralta under 1.5 now, because what if it is a 2-run spot out there? And we got another situation like Scooble. Plays a lot better at home. A 1.32 ERA versus his 2.76 overall. And the Pirates have bad numbers against righties, which is tough. Lefties is one thing. Righties is another. 29th in baseball in their OBA, 290. It's terrible. 231 batting average. 238 OBA. It got even worse over the last week out there. They scored a bunch of runs. 13 runs in 2 starts combined. But they do average 3.3 on the season over the last 2 weeks. So Andrew Heaney, 3.94 ERA. He struggled. His last 5 starts, he's got a 6.08 ERA. Bottom line, I think they used up their pieces yesterday. I wanted to take that first 5 minus a half. That's just a little juicy now. I'll take them 1.5. And the reason we're getting plus money is, again, because they know, look, team's probably going to be up going into the 9th inning. You're not going to get those at-home bats. So they bake it into the number. That's why it's plus 105, where the first 5 minus a half is minus 145s, minus 150s. You're even getting minus 1s out there in the first 5 now, because they know you're going to get all 5 innings worth of bats. You're going to get at least 15 outs. But as the rest of the game transitions, they know they're probably going to be up, probably not going to have that bottom of the 9th inning situation out there, and that's why it's plus 105. I'm willing to take that chance as the home team to be up here because of all the aforementioned pitching metrics that we talked about. To me, that's the way to go. So we'll see if we can't get that money. Definitely not a Pirate spot for me in this spot. We got our Pirates money. We extracted that cash. I think they're good for 1 a series. And we just have to find out where that 1 happens to be. Barring any kind of tremendous run or anything that they go on out there. And we got the Cubs and the Cardinals. I referenced this game at the start of the show yesterday. We got our money on the over. How do we reattack a game after we already got some cash in this thing here? And I know some of you guys are back on that over. Not against it. Not mad at anybody that wants to get in the over business. I want to attack the side. And I'm gonna turn the plane into this little storm of adversity here. 82% of the bets and 62% of the cash are on the Cubbies. Numbers come down. So a lot of public money. A 20% differential. The sharper bettors, the bigger bettors, are jumping back in on them cards. Total went from 9. Seeing some 8.5s. So you got 98% of the bets and 92% of the cash. It's Tyone. It's McGreevy. Tyone with a 3.84. Not in love with some of Tyone's performance. Tyone's kind of tricky. What are you going to get from this guy? What's going on here? What's going on here? Let's get that out of there. I do like that Arenado look. I thought that was a clever little spot. And It's hard not to consider a guy like Kyle Tucker when he's kind of coming off of that donut that he had yesterday. But big win yesterday for the Cardinals. What do we know about the Cubbies? They're a really good bounce back team. In fact, they're one of the best in baseball. In fact, they find themselves in that bounce back position. You make them a favorite, you're making them a favorite for a reason. And this goes kind of back to what we talked about yesterday, and we cashed out some of these spots out there. The trend over a long sample, over 20 years of trend, tells you not that these players were back in 1996 sporting the Cubs jerseys, but when they're road favorites off a game one loss, the books make them a favorite on the road, but not entirely sure how wide a favorite. So between that minus 100 and minus 120 spot, small favorite, they're winning 78% of the time. They're 14-4 in those spots. If they start behind, they like to go out there and stomp. And what's impressive now, let me bring this in from 20 years wide history with a huge sample size to relevant current form. This is a top 3 batting team in Major League Baseball. Most of these guys just got stuffed yesterday. I don't expect that to happen. I expect them to fire back in this position. And I like this price tag. I think it's a great rate. I got a minus 110 out there on these fellas to get that cash for us in a bounce back. Books made him a favor for the reason the books know over 20. Some of those bookmakers might still be out there from 20 years ago, but they know what's up. Kelly V says, there you go. Cubs great off a loss. Winner after losing and lost 2 straight. She likes the over in this game as well. Lots of love for that over. I get you guys. I'm going to be rooting for runs. I just hope they come out of the Cubs side of the clubhouse out there. And, for what it's worth, I do think that bullpen to bullpen, the Cubs get the advantage there as well. But, they're on the road, so we'll see. We'll see how they feel about this game and how they decide to attack. But a great price point for a road team that's in a bounce back spot. Going to be hot. Woo! It's like 97 degrees at first pitch. Perfect weather for runs. And if you're going to get runs, you might as well get them from the top 3. Top 3. I'm looking at the tops. I got the Phillies in the top spot, not just as a homer, but look, they're just stomping on teams, even without Bryce Harper. The Dodgers, do you put the Dodgers in that rotation? I mean, they're winning games and they're scoring runs. I think they probably get to an under tonight, even though it's a mark of a 12 at Coors. We'll see what they can do, but they got some guys like Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's put the brakes on. Guy's been on fire. 0 home runs his last 131 at-bats. Now, I know he's only one guy, but he's a key piece to that wheel out there. So I think I'll slide the Cubs in 2. I think I'll make the Cubs 2. I think my current on-the-fly batter ratings here, Phillies number 1, Cubs number 2, and Dodgers number 3. Mets number 28 for our guy Redbeard, in case he's wondering where I put the Mets. That's a homer play. That's a homer number. I want to keep going, guys. We got to keep her moving. We want to get our man Sharpie Bets here for the live show. Make an adult beverage and put a little Major League Baseball on while we sweat. It's nice and cool in the office. About 74 degrees. I'd take it a little cooler, but then I got to put a sweatshirt on. Man, that just doesn't look right when it's 100 degrees outside, All right, last night, gave out this Angels parlayed with the Red Sox. It's cute to give out the Angels, but how about parlaying them with the over in that Red Sox spot? I thought that was a tremendous look. It turned out that it cashed in, it was 5-3 in the first inning. Angels were up. We were on our way. The Red Sox put up another run. It was 5-4. We cashed the over. Then it was just a matter of the Angels hanging on for the win, and they did that comfortably. Looking at these numbers, cash flow's telling us they like the Sox. They think the Sox are going to smash. Minus 186, now minus 165. Minus 165, 21-cent reduction. 88% of the bets. 74% of the cash, meaning some bigger bettors are coming in on them Angels. I get it. In fact, it looks like the money moved kind of predominantly overnight. So think about that. A lot of the money came in on the Angels overnight. And then what happened from there? Money kept pouring in on Boston. It's your cousin from Boston. And the line didn't move. So that should definitely give you a concern if you're looking at the old Red Sox. 98% of the bets, 96% of the cash on the over 8. Not that key number at 9, 8. And everybody loves it. They saw what happened last night. Interesting way to kick this game off. And obviously we saw last night, do they have a situation where they can bounce back at him? Early in the year, I was not a Garrett Crochet fan. He'll take the bump. It's lefty on lefty. Give you a little hint as to where I'm looking in this one here. Garrett Crochet with that 2.2 ERA. Plays consistent whether he's home or on the road. He just came off a 6-inning start. So that was a Seattle game out there. He has picked up 4 wins in a row. So you got to respect that the team knows this is one of their guys and they step up behind him. He's 7-1 on the season on the road. 6 hits, 1 earned run last game. Flip side, Tyler Anderson. I was high on Anderson to start the season, but he's a pitch to contact guy as of late. He did go 6 innings. They kind of left him out there to get skewered. 8 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 2 homers, 4 Ks. He stinks at home. He's 1-3. It's like, all right, who are we going to see? And I talked to you guys about how my theory around the bunches, right? So these pitchers will go in bunches. They'll be hot for a while. They'll be cold for a while. Just got to kind of try to look at the spot. Evidence, 2 starts in a row, 4.1 innings. That was against the Sox in Boston. Gave up 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Goes back against Seattle at home. Only goes 4.2, gets cracked. Goes out to Baltimore. Struggling Baltimore. Gets cracked with 5 innings, 6 earned runs, 2 homers. And then the Yankees. So he's had a tough schedule, if you will. I think this is a little sneaky spot for this guy back at home to find a way to cool the Jets. But I'm not going to attack the side in this game. I don't know. I mean, it's too pricey for me to get involved in Boston. I still don't entirely think the locker room's right in Boston. They got rid of Devers. I don't know. Something's going on there. Something's not right in the old hen house, in my opinion. But I do have some intersecting zeros for you. Now, I talked about Crochet. Look, got to respect it. He's in a 10-0 spot to the under. If he doesn't have multiple walks his previous game, 10-0. In other words, command and control follows up with this guy. And the average number of runs we're seeing in games in this position are 5.1 total runs. Kind of makes me think, dog, why not? If we're going to see a 3-2 game, why can't it be the Angels that sneak out on top of this thing? The Red Sox are 11-0 to the under. If they allowed more walks than hits the previous game, separate from Crochet, but still involving walks, they're going under the total by 3 in those games. And the Angels find themselves in a nice little 8-0 under when they're at home. Not a big favorite. Led by at least 3 runs the previous game. In other words, I don't think they're sustainable, is what that tells you. They're not a big favorite, and they smacked a team. And the average runs we're seeing in those positions are 4.7. So to me, rather than trying to get cute and figure out a side, I just thought, why not take this 8? Kind of lines up when you see that it's not at 9 or 9.5 after last night's onslaught of runs. And everything tells you these trends position these teams to sell high on that over. And we're going to take it. We're going to take that 8 right now and see if that can get us to where we need to be. Kelly V says, Crochet, first 5 to have the lead. I like a Crochet. His K prop is juicy, 7.5. This kind of supports the under too. I was looking at that earlier. 7.5 is minus 145 on FanDuel when it first opened up today. Is that crazy? It's a big number. Big number in comparison because you see some guys like Fromber are 6.5 and juice to the under. So big worm. The White Sox yesterday. It's all on me. It's not all on you, big worm. I had him. I had him first 5 in full game. I say it only counts as 1, but I played him twice, so I guess it counts as 2. Felt like 100. Was embarrassed. Was embarrassed of myself given that fucking White Sox number out there. It seemed like, well, what are you gonna do? We still ground out some profit yesterday. All right, the Marlins and the Giants keep her moving. I think we're rolling at a brisk pace here for the last Second half of the card, last 4 games. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Show the support. Look, we're not one of them big networks out there. Your thumbs up probably counts twice when it comes to that other side of things here. So we're only asking you to do it once. It probably counts as twice because, well, we love you guys and we're growing. This thing is growing. And we don't have all those marketing dollars behind us. So we need you guys. We need you to be all you can be and smash that thumbs up button. Marlins and Giants for me, the last play on the Major League Baseball card. Again, a tricky situation. Devers is back. Got like that. Minus 190 has moved to minus 178. 84% of the bets and 77% of the cash on them San Francisco Giants. Total's gone from 7.5 to an 8. Is that because Rafa's back? No, they're not calling him Raphael. Is it? I don't know. 98% of the bets, 98% of the cash on this over. It's Verlander. It's Quantrill. Now check this out. On the surface, Verlander's got a 4.45 ERA and Quantrill's got a 5.68 ERA. So immediately when you see that, why wouldn't you think fire on this over? Like these guys are probably going to get the over in the first 5, right? Or maybe that's how I think. Verlander stinks. He's 0-4. So he's got a big ERA and an 0-4 record. He's not. What that tells you is he's letting up a lot of runs and he's not getting any run support from it. So they're losing. And Quantrill's 3-7. Same thing with the 5.68 ERA. Interesting. Obviously, as I mentioned, the Devers spot, you got to like what's going on there. I'd consider him for a home run. If I was going to consider 2 guys for the home run tonight, I'm not a big home run guy, but I like me a little Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz, 10 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 1.128 OPS, on fire for this guy right now, Elly De La Cruz. Just as he was last year. He kind of started a little slower this year. The other guy that I would strongly consider, it's got to be Rafi. RBI priced at plus 145 for Rafi. Home runs, plus 350. It's right around the target area, I guess. I mean, if you're looking to use that free home run button out there, yeah, go get it. I mean, the guy's a machine, and he's got to be feeling good in a new place, new digs. Just came off that Boston series as well, so they won that thing out 2-1. They're an over-under zigzagger. They don't really seem to generate too much consistency one side or the other. But the interesting part is look at these Marlins. Under. It's funny. They got shut out 7-0 against Atlanta. Guess what they did? They won the next game. It's a plus 133. That's the way it works when the team gets shut out. But I was drawing attention to some of those spots because, as bad as these pitchers are, these numbers suggest bounce back opportunities for these guys. And I say bad in jest. I mean, we know who these guys are, at least Verlander. 9-0 to the under. In the favorite role, up to a minus 196. So not a huge favorite, just a medium to a large favorite. If he gave up more than 6 hits and less than 2 walks his previous game. So getting touched, but getting out of it. 9-0 to the under the next game. In other words, his consistency carries on. The average runs we're seeing in those games are 5.1 total. 5.1. Toronto's up 2-0. Cal Quantrill finds himself in another spot. When his pitch count's less than 98 in his last 7 games, he's a perfect 7-0 to the under. And they're going under by 2.5 runs a game. Almost an identical situation. When the guy's got it under control, it carries over. That's the whole pitchers do things in bunches theory that I shared with you guys earlier. San Francisco, when they're a non-divisional home game, totals more than a 7. They find themselves to the under. Non-divisional home game does not breed familiarity between the batters and pitchers. We just talked about these pitchers showing control. And the average runs in those games, 4.8. Over a 16-game sample, 4.8 is the average. Right now, you got a sell spot on San Francisco's batters. They rank somewhere between 24 and 25 against righties out there. Nothing tells you this is a San Francisco spot, but it does tell me that it's an under spot. So we'll wrap up the Major League Baseball card. Pop this under 8. Not going to mess with, I guess the numbers kind of, we'll see what happens with some of this live betting early on. Maybe with some of this live betting, we'll punch in there and fire a spot and see what happens here. But let's go. Let's see if we can get it there. Big Worm wants to get it with us. Arizona, Kelly V says Arizona won 15 of 17 versus the White Sox. Ramon gave us that trend. Please like and comment after the show, says Kelly V. Appreciate that, Kelly V. And here's some San Francisco numbers for you guys. 1-16 as run line favorites at home. Don't love Verlander at all, but travel from Miami is terrible. Yeah. And Miami was just out west. Peter says that Robbie's never smiled like that in Boston. They love him, man. They're giving the guy a standing ovation when he's out there at those games. He's feeling good. All right, I got 3 more spots for you guys here. See if we can knock this out in 5 minutes so I can go pour myself a beverage, get refreshed, make sure all my bets are in, and get her moving. We're going to start out with the Minnesota Lynx. Ramon gave us the injury update. Critical notice. I'm going to jump in. We had a profile for this game that I've been tracking in a little trendage that's very similar, and we cashed on it before. Remember, we talked about team just came off of overtime. Theoretically, they should have tired legs, but what we see is they start slow, and then we covered that first half, and then we did not cover the full game. Was it about a week ago? I looked it up. We're 8-3 in our last 11 WNBA games. Again, you can find it all at BetStamp, Mikey Money. Look for the WNBA in there. But that's the spot that we have here. We have the Lynx, 3 straight wins. We have Washington, who's won 3 of 5. And they're coming off that overtime game against probably the league bottom Dallas Wings. So you played the worst team in the WNBA. You had to go to overtime. Now you're coming back home and you're in a situation where you're a heavy dog. I'm going to take the Lynx. I'm going to take them in the first half. I got the -3.5. That's that profile spot that I like to get involved with. 4.5, if that's the number you can get now. I mean, this was right before the show started, so let's see what the best number is out there now. Just really quick. Whoops. Everything starts at 8 p.m. tonight. There's still some 3.5. You're going to want to shop it around. I mean, at 4.5, I would still take it. I don't know. You still catch a beefy, a 4 at DraftKings at -108. Plenty of 3.5 with a little juice on them. Shop around. I wouldn't go much past the 4.5. I certainly wouldn't take those 5s that are out there. Bovadas and Circas. Yeah, I wouldn't take those. I mean, there's 3.5s and 4s out there. That's where I would look. Or look to live bet it if you can't get in there now and hope that somehow the Mystics score the first basket. I don't know if that's going to happen, but the last game I got for you guys in the WNBA spot there. Again, we're 8-3 in our last 11, so it's summertime. Let's crack away. Let's pop away on a little bit of this WNBA. And I'm going to pop away on our girl, Caitlin Clark. She's not really our girl. Angel Reese is probably more our girl than Caitlin Clark. Spot start situation here again. The Seattle Storm. This to me is just more of who have you played and who are you right now. You know, Caitlin Clark comes back from the suspension or injury, right? She's starting to figure it out. Now, obviously, I just saw a great, I'm trying not to be skewed by this little behind the scenes thing I saw of the Indiana Fever, but they're taking this fame and they're really running with it. Their coach has got experience, 24, 25 years in the league. Grown up with the NBA, WNBA's only been around for 30 years. So this girl's been a part of it since day one. They're doing all the right things from a publicity perspective, and they're handling their success in stride. So that's an important piece. They're not letting their egos get to them where they just kind of put their hands out and give up. Although we do see, this is why I think these first halves cash, like we talked about with the Lynx. These girls don't necessarily want to bludgeon the other team. So the first half, Lynx covered, not winning the full game against the spread wouldn't surprise me because of that situation. In this case, though, Seattle just came off of playing 2 of the best teams in the league. At some point, I would think there's got to be a little fatigue that sets in. And because you're one of the better teams in the league, the other team wants to come they want to come ring your bell. And that's the Indiana Fever. They had a quick burst when Caitlin Clark first came back, and they were saying how she was looking like a young Steph Curry out there. Since then, they've taken back-to-back losses to Las Vegas and Golden State, the Valkyries. But they've spent their time out there on the West Coast, so there hasn't been a ton of travel out there. Now they're going up to Seattle, and the Seattle team just played the Liberty and the Aces. 2 battles, 89-79 against the Liberty 83-80 against the Aces. They also snuck another win in there against the doormat LA Sparks. They busted up the Sparks 98-67. And here comes the first time they've played the Fever on the season. I think this is a little bounce back opportunity for Caitlin Clark. And is the wrong team favored? Maybe. I'll take the 3.5 points, though. And I'll see about live betting these gals any way I can across the spectrum. That's the way we're going to go roll it up out there. Plus, Ricky Levine. What's up, my guy? This is Go Cubbies. What's up, Ricky Levine? Wondering where you were, my friend. It's good to see you back here. All right, last game I got for you guys. We're going to look at this LAFC action here. It's summertime. Let's stretch ourselves out, stretch our focus out. Take a look across the board tonight. We're going to look at this Los Angeles Football Club and Flamengo battling in here. I mean, there's a bunch of games tonight on the card, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm just being too simple or if I'm not overthinking it or whatever you want to call it here. But look, the football, this is the FIFA Club World Cup, right? So this was a big addition that our president brought in there for us before the end of his last term. Also prepping to get the World Cup in here. And LA Football Club, who's been one of them strong dominants in the MLS, has yet to score a goal. 2-0 against Chelsea, 1-0 against, I couldn't tell you, De Tunis, I guess. De Tunis. Terrible spots here to start this thing off. What's probably going to happen here, because Flamengo's been rolling, probably going to see a bunch of injury snafu, not injury, but roster replacements, I guess is what it comes down to. I'm just looking at it going, LAFC hasn't scored. If you're the other team and you're on a nice little heater, you probably give some players some rest. So you're probably not putting your best opportunities out there. And I think because of that, this just leads to a boring, low-scoring game. Maybe it's a 1-1 draw, but the under 2.5 was the way that I wanted to go after this thing. If I'm Flamengo, you go out there, you score early, you park the bus, and you rotate through everybody. Get everybody some time, because once they get out of this group stage, things will heat up a little bit more, and the games are going to count just a little bit more. So again, I think in a lower scoring matchup, can LAFC score? Maybe. I don't love it. I do like the under. I want to take some under action. I got this thing at minus 120 earlier today was the under 2.5. I mean, there's a couple different ways I thought about playing it. Both teams to score, no. But the problem I have with that is, what if we see a 1-1? Flamengo comes out the first 10 minutes with their strikers. They pop it in. They show that they can do it. They keep their form, keep the rotation, keep the consistency and repetition in the starting lineup. Then they shuffle some things around if they go up 1-0. LAFC comes out that second half after strategizing on the backups, punches one in, it's 1-1, and then nobody scores the rest of the game, and that's the final score. We'll see if that's the way it takes hold here tonight, but that's a 9 p.m. Eastern start. That's the way we're going to put a bow on the show. I appreciate everybody watching this afternoon here. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. And guess what? I'm going to end this one. I'm going to pop the next one off. We got about 3-4 minutes before we go live with Sharpie and Ramon Scott to talk about some of their best bets here for the Major League Baseball schedule. We'll see the K-props from the K-prop whisperer, the K-prop kid. Sharpie bets. Don't miss it, you guys. Make sure you check it out here. We'll be live in just a couple of moments. Thank you, everybody, for watching us here. Again, smash that thumbs up. Good luck with your bets, and we'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for more pre-gaming. Follow us on Instagram, Sports Money Network, Sports Money Wins on X, and see you in a few minutes. Good luck, everybody. Get that